Leaders Connect. Leaders Connect 360 started with the specific objective of inviting 1,000+ leaders and create million leaders. A hybrid model leadership community where every Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. we learn from top management leaders on Zoom Live, and once in 3 months in each city, we will have an office networking event meet to network, support, and grow with the leaders. That's when we call as leaders create more leaders. Currently, all are muted, and we will be giving you an opportunity to speak to our guest, Ms. Vinita Ramtri, APAC COO at Delta Capita based out of Singapore. But before that, let me also share that we are currently live on LinkedIn, and this episode LC092 is being recorded. For the visitors who are joining for the first time, you may also click on the WhatsApp, Facebook, and LinkedIn links on the chat box to get updates on weekly basis and join us in creating more leaders. Also, we request all our members and visitors to turn on your videos, which will help us in making the episode highly interactive. So, are we all ready to interact with our guest, Ms. Vinita Ramtri, APAC CEO at Delta Capita, on the topic of hectic to happiness? Then please type yes in the chat box. Thank you. I am seeing some responses. Before the introduction of the guest, let me also take the privilege to introduce founder of the Leaders Connect 360, Mr. Prakash Sharma, who will have interaction with our guest along with the panel discussion leader, Ms. Vasanthi Jason. I shall welcome you all. Over to you, Mr. Prakash Sharma.
Great. Thank you very much, Sandeep. Awesome. And welcome, Ms. Vinita Ramtri. It's wonderful and really great that you're connecting with us from Singapore today on the special episode, which is called the Hectic to Happiness. So we'll also give you an unmute option to unmute you. I believe you've given that as
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. So on that note is where we will move ahead to the topic, and we still stick on to the timelines of what has been given. So we have a quick introduction of our guest of honor video, the panel discussion leaders video. So I would request Mr. Arul to play the video, and then we will start our panel discussion leaders, Mr. Vasanthi Jason's discussion with Vinita. So what you Arul for the video? Hey, thank you all. So, Vinita, that was a quick video for welcoming you. Thanks for joining us today, and that's been great. And thanks, welcome, Vasanthi, also to join us today as a panel discussion leader. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, good. So, Vinita, I'm sure you would have got to know about. Okay, let me share with all the members and visitors over here. Me and Vinita are the LinkedIn Connects, and through the LinkedIn is where we had requested, and there are a lot of gracefulness is where Vinita did agree to join us as a guest of honor. So great. On that note, so to go more in deeper insights from how do we shift ourselves from hectic lifestyle to more of a happiness. So hectic to happiness is the topic, a very creative and innovative topic. So to go ahead with the questions, Vasanthi, Dr. Vasanthi Jason, over to you, and let's have a go more with the discussions, and I'll come back to you after your key questions. Over to Dr. Vasanthi.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Prakash. And it's a privilege, ma'am, and we are very, very happy as a team to invite you here. And you've given us your valuable time for us. Thank you once again. First, I was going through some leadership stories, and one story was very interesting. It is about a person called Eric Yuan. In 1987, he was in his college days. And he was specifically saying that to meet his loved one, he had to travel 11 hours by train in China. So, and then in 2011, he founded the organization called Zoom Communications, which we are all well aware of and which you're all using. And it has got more than 50% of the share in the market. So one personal goal of his has turned into a business initiative. And he has said it is his mission to be a service for all through his personal goal. So his mission was accomplished through that. So in this note, I would like to take the conversation on, and I would like to talk whether how a very interesting question, actually a tricky question. Are happy people always busy, or busy people are happy always? How do you explain that?
That's a great start. So thank you so much. I hope you can all hear me. So I would say happy people aren't always busy. Happy people can be happy doing nothing. Because happiness is a state of mind. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. It is to do with how you're feeling, right? Equally, the second also, I don't think has a correlation, because busy people can be really unhappy, can be very miserable, but equally, if you're in the search of something, you're trying to do something, then being too busy or being tired, you can still be very happy. So I believe that the two are not correlated at all. I don't know if that answers your question, but in my view, that's how it is.
It was not actually a question, it was a tricky statement, actually. I thought I could probe it on. And okay, next we will go to the most serious part. Does a hectic lifestyle really bring about happiness to a person? And how does a person, an employee, make his hectic lifestyle a very productive one?
So if you're saying a busy lifestyle makes a person happy, is that what you're saying, right? I mean, I feel like, I've seen a lot of people. I mean, I have worked like 25 years in multiple organizations. So I don't know if any of you know, but as a career, I started in the Oberoi hotels. So I used to work with Oberoi's at the Oberoi Center Learning and Development in Delhi. I worked through Calcutta, Cochin, Jaipur, Agra, Delhi, Bombay, before I came to Scotland, then London, then here. Everywhere that I've seen, I mean, I can see very, very happy people who can just be doing their day job and, very happily switch off. And equally, like the busy people tend to be more miserable, I would say, because it depends again on two things, right? So whether you're busy because you're not able to disconnect from the work. So 9 to 5 is done, ho gaya, uske baad bhi, people are just thinking about work, it's going on in their mind. Then they start to become unhappy, because it's like a bit of a thing that just keeps going in your mind, right? And like the right Hindi word would be like dimag, right? It's just going on in your head and it's just going on, eating you out. But the other way around is like, if some people are working really hard to set up their business, to your point of a Zoom, or, like if I'm trying to, like I have written 2 books, I've written actually 4 books. I've only published 2,
Oh,
but
wow.
I've written 4. 2 I've not even bothered publishing, frankly. The point is that my happiness comes from the writing.
Okay.
So I can keep writing and not feel tired. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is like the busy has nothing to do with the happy. And happiness is being able to detach yourself from the quantity of work, the external stimulus, the weather, the food, the 20,000 reasons why we say I'm not happy because of this, I'm not happy because of that, I'm not happy because of that. So if you're going to look for reasons to be happy, then you're essentially unhappy because you need a reason to be happy. So happiness is, if you're, it maybe sound a bit like a higher spiritual state, but you need to learn to be truly happy. You need to learn to be happy despite circumstances, not in certain circumstances. Dhoop hoegi to I'll be happy, barish hoegi to I'll be unhappy. That's not how it works. It's like I'm going to be happy whether it's raining or it's sunshine.
Okay. So what would you suggest as steps as to how a person can balance this out?
I think the key step is really just acknowledging, right? So I've read a lot about like whether Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence, whatever else, right? The key steps, and I've seen the society a lot. Obviously, like I'm from India, grew up in Jaipur, Pune, everything, right? So I'm very familiar with the culture, and essentially the steps are saying that my happiness doesn't depend on what the world thinks of me. So the first step is to really disconnect, saying, okay, wo kya bol raha hai, wo kya bol rahi hai, I don't care. Right, the first step is like, okay, jisko jo bolna hai bol lo. Okay, second part is really that whatever's happening around you. So if you're going to say, okay, this is happening in Ukraine, that is happening in America, whatever else is happening, I understand that those are all reasons to be feeling anxious, or inflation, or interest rate, or
Recession.
economic growth, jobs, like rows, you'll find 20,000 things, right? So I write actively, I read actively, obviously as CEO, I need to know exactly what's happening in the environment, right? So the point is that you need to be able to disconnect yourself to say, okay, ye ho raha hai, but where am I going to find my opportunities, as opposed to how am I going to let that make me unhappy? Usi cheez mein people will find opportunities. Usi cheez mein people will find enough reason to feel miserable, right? So to your point, it's about finding how do you change that situation to then position yourself in the right place, because the situation is the situation. You can't change the situation.
Yeah.
What you can change is how you look at the situation and what you do about it.
Yeah.
Right. So as an example, which I speak very frankly, like I'm divorced, right? So I decided like 2012 or whatever, I want to be single. I took my children and I'm divorced, and I'm in Singapore. My one child is in London. I come, she's happy there. I'm happy here. We go visit, we meet. But essentially it's about saying, okay, here's a situation. I think I want to be single. I think I want to do this. What am I going to do about it? Now, am I going to sit every day and say, okay, ye karna hai, wo karna hai, kaise karu, kya karu, or get with it? So the one part of Vasanthi is just courage. A lot of people just don't have the courage. You rather be unhappy for 100 days than take one bold step for one day.
I think you're touching on the point of work-life balance. Clearly, you're touching
Everything,
on
both. See,
yes.
it's both. I don't even think that there is separation, right? Like right now, it is 9:30 in Singapore. I keep saying London because I'm still used to London, but I keep talking to people in London because right now I just came off a call from my team in London.
Okay.
Ab London mein dopahr hui hai, right? So my boss is just going for lunch. So he's calling me. He's like, so what's going on? Because my boss is in London, right?
Okay.
My child is in the room over here. Now, where is work and where is life? Do you know what I mean? Like and I'm sitting on my living room, right? So this is my living room. You can see like that's my TV,
Okay.
that's my house, right? So it's work is in your house, and that's not a bad thing, right? So I go for work in the morning, I come back, I work, and I actually like this because if I want to work in the evening, I don't want to be sitting in the office. And obviously, if I'm a part of a global business, I have to understand, 9 to 5 nahi hota hai, because by the time America wakes up, Singapore is ready to sleep.
Okay. So what are your points, ma'am, on how to strike a balance? You said, right, we need to detach ourselves from whatever we are, what the world thinks about us. So what are your key pointers? How do you feel one has to detach oneself from the hectic lifestyle of any corporate industry? Any scenario is so hectic, and anywhere it is so hustle bustle. How will a person do that detachment in mind or in his job?
I think the main steps, to be honest, would be first is to be spending time with yourself. Okay. If you ask me objective steps, too many people spend too much time with too many people. Okay. सबको लोगों के साथ सारा time log. My dad came here. I said, "आप swimming क्यों नहीं जाते?" Like I have a swimming pool downstairs. I'm saying to him, Papa go swimming. He's like, "लोग ही नहीं है." I was like, "लोगों से क्या करना?" You have to swim. The pool is there, the water is there. You go swim. So eventually he got the idea. But the point is, everybody wants to be associated with people. So one ability, as you're saying, Vasanthi, is to understand and be comfortable with yourself.
Okay.
If you can't be comfortable with yourself, then you will always crave company. And that is the first part, because then as you crave company, then what will happen is your ability to accept yourself or detach yourself will depend on what people say. People will say, "Aajkal baat nahi karte, aajkal jawab nahi dete, aajkal whatever."
Okay.
You will start to connect, same in corporate life. So as I'm saying, personal or corporate life, right? Because corporate life also, if you detach yourself, says, "Hey, this is my job, this is my scope, this is what I'm here to do." Right? So if I have 150 people under me, now I'm detached in the sense my job is to govern and to make sure that I do the right thing for everyone.
Yeah.
But in that, not 150 people will be happy every day. Someone I will promote, someone I will not promote. I can't
Yes.
please everyone every day, right? So you have to detach yourself to saying, okay, today I did my absolute best. I did the right thing. I did the right thing by the company, the right thing by the person. And in my head, I have done my absolute maximum, and then I'm detached.
Okay.
So that's probably few things. Like, one is spend time with yourself. Second is understand your own self-worth and know that you've given it your best, and then be able to say, okay, fine, I've done enough for the day, and tomorrow we'll see what happens.
You're talking about more of self-assessment of ourselves. I think you're touching on that too.
Self-assessment and self-worth.
Self-worth. Okay.
Because people define their worth by what other people think of them.
Yeah, very true.
So you play with your worth, because aaj koi, पेड़ पे चढ़ाएगा तो we think we're really good. Tomorrow you're dropped, you suddenly feel. So we treat ourselves like an elastic rubber band type thing, right? Saying today, like they say, usko chada diya, whatever, right? So people, what happens is it's a joke or whatever. But the point is, in your career, that thing plays havoc with your mental state, because you start to seek approval. You start to seek the little things like, what is my annual rating? What is my how many people like me? But you have to be able to say that, to detach yourself from all of that. Like I'm saying, that it's that your self-worth is not defined by other people. It is defined by you. Like today, I write a lot on LinkedIn, which you've seen, or Prakash mentioned. Now, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me to say, oh, like how many likes you get, or how many followers you get, or whatever. Like, I don't even care. So many people will say, is this related to corporate? Is this not related to corporate? Sometime I will post exercise videos. I'll post whatever I want. It's my page. I will do what I want. So I think that's the courage that a lot of people don't have. They'll say, सबको क्या देखना है? अब सबको क्या देखना है? उससे तुमको क्या लिखने का है? That's the point. You write what you want to write, right? You say what you want to say. And then whoever wants to read will read. Whoever doesn't want to read will move on.
Okay. So touching on what you are, I went through your interesting Instagrams and your LinkedIn profiles. You had written 2 points of what is me, intent and intentionality. Please, can you elaborate on that so that it will be helpful for us too? I was reading as to how you go about it, but you can also elaborate as to how we can go about it, because your style will not be the same as to how we can go about it, right? In
Correct.
common, how can one person do these things?
Cool. Thank you. So I think one is intensity and one is intent,
Intentionality.
Right? Intentionality and intensity. And I mean, not everyone has to be it, but I'll just tell you why I do it and how I go about it. So one is intentionality. Probably I'll start with the first one is to, again, going back to purpose. Right? So what is my intention? I wake up in the morning. My intention is not to make everybody happy. My intention is not to make the world go, oh, wow, Vinita is so nice. My intention is to look after my child, to do a fair job, whatever, like you say, like, how in India as well, we have that big ethic, right? If someone's paying your salary, you do a good job. So my sense of duty keeps me going, right? So my intent is always saying, this is the duty. My duty towards my firm, my duty towards like my body, even to say, okay, I have to exercise because, I have to be grateful for what I've got. If I'm fit today, it's my duty to maintain that. Like it's what God's given you, right? So I can't say, oh, by the way, I'll just not care. I can't do that. So intent is the first thing which drives me. That's my key motivator. Then uske upar, the point is that all of you as well, I would say, is the way to use this is to figure out, why are you waking up in the morning? what is your intention? Like so low, don't wake up. Like so many people say, oh,
Ikigai,
today is Monday.
ikigai.
Ikigai, but ikigai absolutely, but maybe not in the, like ikigai is also about making money, right? So let's
Yeah.
assume my mother's a retired woman, right? She'll wake up, she will see this Swami Anirudh or whatever, Anirudh and Brahma Kumaris, all that. Okay, so she's not earning anything. She's sitting and watching TV, right? But that is her purpose. She wakes up, she likes it, and it's fine. Not everyone has to be earning money, right? So that is what is the intention with which you wake up. I have to do this with my day, and this is what will define success. The next part is intensity, is that if you're doing something, then do it with passion. Like if you don't want to do it, don't do it. So intensity is that part. To say karna hi hai, to dhang se karo. Like don't do a half-baked job. I mean, I say that to my child as well, or anybody, right? Saying, okay, so the intensity, that is my nature. So as an example, in the writing, when I'm writing, I mostly write my posts and everything like on trains or on the road. If I'm walking, I'll just stand in the corner and I'll just start writing. But I'm very intense about it. Like I cannot stop halfway. I will sell someone on a conference call. I'll be 2 minutes late. I'll be 3 minutes late because I have to finish what I'm doing. So I'm very intense in what I'm doing. And that is like even my mom doesn't understand it. Like in whether it's writing or anything, like I ran the London Marathon and she tells me, kya zarurat hai? You already run so much. What is the need? Faltu risk hai, ye hai, wo hai. Like she doesn't understand the intensity. So a lot of people will not understand it and will also not want to do it that way. They're like, okay, chill and live. But I'm not the chill person. That's not my nature, and I don't want it to be my nature. So I think everyone should decide what you stand for and then do it properly. If you want to chill, then chill properly. You know what I mean? Like I have no problem with it. But at least then don't be fickle about it.
Okay. Okay. And you were also talking about in your post about fitness, mental fitness and physical fitness. What is your say on that?
I think
It's a very important topic nowadays because most of us are work from home and we tend to put on weight and it's having a hassle on our health issues. Yes, ma'am. We would like you to talk on that, please.
I think the main thing here, give me 1 second. Rocco, I'll be 10 minutes. Sorry, my kid is here, but yeah.
Oh.
But we need to go. What is your request? Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. Okay, so basically, my thing is like in terms of like physical fitness or mental fitness, like if you're not fit, what's the point? Like, what's the point of trying to do anything? So, and you're saying like it's a thing more recently, but I don't believe in it. Like, okay, this is trendy now versus it's not trendy earlier. It's like it's something you would do any which way. So my point is, why would you not do it? Like it's just one of the things that you would any which way do for yourself. And
I'm
like,
talking about the awareness. Nowadays it's more of an awareness now. People are more aware of all these things which are happening around.
Yeah, I think it's the awareness is more important because of COVID, right? That people have realized that it is important, right? Sorry, it's my kid over here just trying to be funny, but just
we are happy to see him or her, whoever. Hi.
So, but basically he wants nimbu pani, but like exactly a work-life balance, right? So I have to go and make some nimbu pani afterwards. But anyway, my point is that the awareness is come through now because of fear, right? So people are afraid, okay, immunity nahi hai, so you'll get more ill or whatever. And there's a whole Japanese concept, right? Saying that, okay, why would you wait to go to the doctor when you're actually ill? So if you practiced, proactive kind of mitigation, then you wouldn't need it. And I think that's something that people need to learn, as opposed to, okay, today I got sick and I'm therefore going to now start being fit. Right. So I can say personally, like I have never had a problem. I've never had saying, okay, I have to be fit. But the awareness has really kicked in, the mental health, the physical health, and I'm glad that the awareness has kicked in. But equally, I'm sad that a lot of people do it because it's trendy. It's I mean, we're doing it is a good thing, but a lot of people are just doing it because it looks good to go to the gym, and gym mein half the people are just sitting and chatting. So the point is that the awareness is creeping in and is getting there. But I think a lot of it is about like also like it's just cool to be seen like that. In terms of emotional fitness, I think there's a question there about like emotional fitness. Is that a question, Vasanthi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Giri Selvaraj has asked emotional
Cool.
fitness.
So hi Girish, I think emotional fitness precedes the physical fitness, so they sort of go hand in hand. And the other day, actually, someone told me that Vinita, I can't exercise because my mind is always running. So I said to her, like, your mind is always running. That has nothing to do with that you can't actually go for a run. Actually, it will help. So the emotional fitness comes from the physical fitness, and they both complement each other, and they're not two separate things, right? So like, for example, in the morning, if I'm thinking I have to do these meetings, I have to meet these clients, I have to do this, I just leave everything and I just go for a run, right? So emotionally also, you feel like you're able to step away, and you then feel like much better about yourself. And obviously, emotional fitness, another point is really just making sure you meet with the people who lift you, right? I don't like to use the word toxic people, because I don't think they're toxic people. I think all people genuinely mean well. But if some conversation is bringing you down, then you need to understand how best to handle it and step away from it if you can.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Again, you are talking about being detached from the world and do what your mind pleases you. You
I'm
be
very
happy for
detached
yourself.
from the world. I'm very detached from the world. It's very interesting, Vasanthi, that you picked that up, because my mother was here for the last 2 months. She's just gone back to Pune this Monday. But essentially, she sees the way I live. So I've got me, as you saw my son here. But usually, this is me, this is my life. So all day I go out, I meet like, I don't know how many people. But when I come back, I'm not someone who will go out like, oh, everyone's going out partying, we're doing networking. Abhi, I'll get WhatsApp. Do you want to come for dinner? Do you want to come for dance? I'm not bothered. I'm very, very happy and detached. I will sit with my son, I will watch some cartoons or whatever. And I'm mentally able to just, you know, detach. So my mother finds that really interesting. She says, Diwali pe, you don't meet anyone, this one, whatever. And I'm just like, I'm fine, I'm happy, you can go meet whoever you want.
You're going actually touching on the self-actualization perspective, the spiritual side of self-actualization, and how we have to realize what our potentials and what we are made up of. So
I think
it was, yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would agree with everything that you're saying. And if you go through my Audible list of the books that I read and everything, they're very much, I mean, someone like Vedas, Upanishads, like I can just totally go on. Like my mom's always listening to Gita. Like that's the kind of stuff, or it would be like Stephen Covey or whatever else. But although I work in technology, I work in financial services, I understand banking all the way to Web3 and NFTs and whatever else. That is my job, and it is something I do. But equally, on the other end of the spectrum, I'm also very much saying, okay, this is the world here and now, and I can completely cut from it.
Okay, so far we were talking out from the individual perspective, ma'am. One last question from the employer perspective. As a corporate scenario, how can the management or the manager help an employee do success in his life or be happy in this hectic schedule? The last question, of course.
I think the main thing, how can an employer help? So again, I was saying, like, I've got the 150 people, right? So 75 of my people are in Bangalore, 70 are in Singapore, 5 are in Hong Kong, right? So now every area, every person wants different things. So how as an employer we can help is, one is the basics everyone should get, right? So whether it's insurance or salary, all of that is there. But uske baad kya? That is the basic you get in, right? And I think as an employer, you have to understand it. Again, like I use the word servant leadership, but essentially I see myself as, my job here is to make their life better. It's not to make my life better, to say, how can I use them to grow? That's not the concept. The point is, how can I make them grow? Right. Yes. So like today morning, there was a woman, Christine, I took her out for coffee. She couldn't believe it. I was like, come, let's go, let's go to Starbucks. I took her, and I was just saying, Christine, what is your life thing? What do you want to do? She's like, I want personal growth. So I told her, download Eventbrite. This is how you find events. This is how you choose an event. Then I made her choose some events. She said, okay, I'm going to go for these events. But then she's like, thank you for giving me half an hour. Now I'm very busy. I'm still working, 9:30, I still got calls at 11. But the point is that as an employee, you have to understand that if you cannot connect to that one individual,
Yes.
down to that level of one, then your top line revenue, top line profit, it means nothing.
Yes.
It means nothing.
True,
So
true,
as an
true.
employer, you have to feel the heartbeat, the pulse of the organization.
It was so nice to hear your personal stories also. You get so connected with us, and the transparency you're sharing. You started with your personal life and now with your work life, and it was such a beautiful conversation we had.
Thank you.
And you touched all our hearts actually. And
Thank you
I'm
so
very,
much.
thank you so much, Vinita ma'am, for being here and, sharing your viewpoints on these things. And it was a very interesting topic, actually, hectic to happiness, which is the need of the hour. So I give over the session.
Serious.
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of people panic, Vasanthi, in this, like, itna ho raha hai, so much change has never been done. But really, if you read a lot of books, you realize that every era, every person feels like that.
Okay.
Okay, so it's fine, we'll all get by all right. There's nothing to feel like, oh my God, aisa kabhi nahi hua, bahut cheezein hui hai. World War I has happened, II has happened, people have survived, right? Or, so this is not the end of things.
Okay. So it's nice to pull up your pillow and, rest for some time. Rest for some
After I
days.
make the nimbu pani. I've got a job here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Vinita. I hand over the session to Prakash. Yes, you can take it to Arul and Prakash. Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Great,
It was wonderful talking to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vasanthi, for taking up that role of discussion. It was an awesome discussion. And thanks, Vinita, for a very, very open discussion, very transparent, as how Vasanthi said. We're able to sense that you're talking from the bottom of your heart. So quickly, the free flow of the talk, what is there in your mind, and then you're sharing it, which is actually connecting people. That's what I'm able to sense, and then quickly, which connects with them. Excellent. Thanks very much, Vinita. So, Vinita, next what we have is now that people have been listening to you for the last 30 minutes. So we're going to ask a quick question to all our members who are here on the chat box, and that's a quiz time. So just 2 minutes, Vinita, and then we have open questions to you. So there could be any open questions are there. We'll be able to take those open questions from our members. Yeah.
Cool.
So members and visitors, now is the time for open question, but after a small quiz. All right. So in the meantime, before the quiz, let me share how the open questions can be asked. If you have any question directly to ask Ms. Vinita on the specific topic from hectic to happiness, but she did share a lot of experiences of her. So 2 ways, either raise your hand and we give you an option to unmute yourself and you can ask the question directly to Ms. Vinita, or you can type your question in the chat box and we take on your behalf and we ask the question, and then Vinita would share her experience again. So before doing that, so let's quickly go ahead on the quiz question. So this is the time for the quiz question for all the participants here, members and visitors here who joined us. A simple, very quick question. So right from the start of the first of the interaction with Ms. Vinita, she been sharing her secret about happiness. What is that one word she's been repeatedly sharing about happiness? And she said, this is what which we need to do. Prabhu A says that detach yourself. Wow, that's great. So the secret of moving a step towards the happiness is more about the first step she said is getting detached yourself. Great. So that's about, I believe the first person who shared it right is Mr. Prabhu A. Wonderful. Prabhu, that's right. Wonderfully shared. That's what is her secret. We need to spend more time within ourselves in detaching. That's where she was explaining more. It's just not always being surrounded with people alone, and then start taking more time to detach ourselves, understand more about us. When we understand the true happiness is where it is being. Great. So Prabhu, congratulations, Prabhu. Yeah, people have started already typing in congratulations, Prabhu. Prabhu, as this quiz, you have been the quiz winner. You will be entitled to get the Mask Leadership's book as complimentary. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And you also get an opportunity to also, if you have a question to ask Ms. Vinita, please feel free to ask a question as you're already a quiz winner. So you can do that as well. All right, so great. So thanks very much. Congratulations, Prabhu, for sharing the right answer. And I can sense that the complete team over here is very, very aggressive in sharing and interacting with you all. Great, right? Wonderful. So, Ms. Vinita, definitely I really enjoyed your episode, the way how you've spoken. I believe one question is already one raised hand is there with Mr. Giri Selvaraj. Maybe go with one question, Vinita, if it's okay. We have another 3 more minutes.
Go
Fine?
for it.
Yeah, so Mr. Giri Selvaraj, maybe I would request you to make the question in a nutshell, short, so it helps us. So quickly introduce yourself and then quickly onto the question specific to the topic which will add value. Over to you, Giri.
Thank you, Prakash ji. My name is Giri. People also call me as water doctor. And my question, as Prakash ji told, a simple, crispy. As you told, very easy that detachment. Is it really we can able to detach ourselves? Since you are working in a corporate company, you have that freedom, but as a small SME, as MSME, it's a very big challenge for us. Can you please guide me? Thank you.
So just to understand, what you're saying is, how do you do it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think there's two parts to it, Giri. Like there's one is the personal detachment versus the corporate detachment. So I think there's the multiple aspects of your personality, right? So when I say detach, it doesn't mean, like I said, I'm very, very embedded. And I think anyone who's read anything that I write, you'll know, like all the time I'm meeting people, I'm understanding what's going on. So I'm constantly connected, which is very different to detachment, to say, okay, you can connect, you can understand, but you don't let it get to you to the point of causing you anxiety. So you detach yourself from awareness versus that actually it's going to start raising your heartbeat. You know what I mean? So if I know, okay, I have to deliver a revenue growth of, let's say 50%, right? So I'm delivering, let's say 6 million, I need to deliver 9 million, right? So every day, if I'm able to say, okay, here's what I did, here's what my efforts are, here's what will happen. But after I have done all my effort, I'm able to detach myself to say, I have done my bit. So I don't attach myself to the outcome to that degree to say, okay, this defines my success or my failure. And then I will sit and, get anxious about it all the time. So the detachment is more at the mental level and not the activity level. Activity wise, I'm very, very connected. Like I said, I know like every single person's name, and I will take people out and I will go and meet them, because I can't be a detached leader. You can't be a detached leader. You know what I mean? Every single event my team goes, I mean, you can see it on my Instagram, whether they go bowling, they go Oktoberfest, they go whatever, I'm there. I'm there with them. I'm doing all the events and everything. But equally, am I going to worry about, okay, I one sale did not go through, so, kya hua, kyun hua? I will analyze something to death, but not worry about it. I will do it very objectively, like a
True.
maths problem.
Correct. That's true. In fact, we're able to sense that what you're saying is, in other words, if you have to coin it up, it's more of an, as you're rightly saying, is the comfort zone. So detach yourself from that comfort zone. Yeah. So true. And then that will help us.
Yeah, that will help you, because then the next morning you wake up and you're able to still do your best, right? Now, after you do your best, if the result doesn't come through, you're able to detach yourself from that outcome. It's the same as the Gita stuff, right? Kaam karo phal ki ichha mat karo, right? So you do your calm, then you're fine. You know, okay, tomorrow you have to work harder. It didn't work out. You have to work harder. Fine. But there's no need to take it personally to say, oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I didn't do this and I did this and that one said that, that one said that. I don't care, who said what. I will take it as feedback and I will say, okay, tomorrow I have to start an altered approach. And actually it makes you more effective, because you're able to take feedback, because you're not seeing it, like this, feedback is not personal. Feedback is for the process. Saying today, let's say I do a client breakfast and I was intending to invite, let's say 20 clients, and only 15 came. Now, why did 15 come? What went wrong with the invites? Did we invite the wrong people? Did we have the wrong audience? Was the place incorrect? Just go objectively, one by one by one. It's not like, oh, event failed. Yeah. You have to just go objectively and say, okay, what do you want to do for the next event? So I get a lot of the team things, right, where the whole team will go, oh, that didn't work out. And I'm like, okay, we finished mourning. Now let's slice the problem. What do you want to do differently next time? We want to go for a different, theme, structure, that sort of thing.
Great, Vinita. Giri, I believe you got the respective answer for
Yeah,
that.
sure. That's why we are connecting with Zoom, and again we are relaxing in networking, detaching and again attaching.
Yes. So Vinita, what he's saying is, once in every 3 months, we all meet on an offline networking meet, where all the guest of honors join us, panel discussion leaders, members all join together. That's where he's talking about the same.
Cool.
Good, thanks very much. Yeah.
Thank
Good,
you.
Giri. Thanks for that question. That's awesome. So any other questions? We'll take it up. Else, yeah, I believe one Mr. Prabhakaran also raised his hand. Vinita, is that okay? And
Yeah,
then we
sure.
close. Yeah,
Sure.
great. CS Prabhakaran, one last question, and then we come to an end of our episode. Yes, Mr. Prabhakaran, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Vinita ma'am. It's just a follow-up of the same thing. When we are too passionately attached to a particular job or a particular task, so we naturally tend to get attached to the results as well. It's easy said that you detach yourself from the results, So once it doesn't go your way, we feel lost. So I'm really wondering how we can exercise this part. Most of the time we carry it personally. Say when something goes
It's a
bad, we
mental
immediately
strength.
take it personally.
It's a mental strength. It's a mental strength. So it comes from constantly doing it. Okay. So it's a very, very good question and a very relevant one, because how can you be passionate and still be detached, right? But the point here is that to be passionate about that one particular incident, what you're trying to do, like today, I'm like a simple, genuine example, right? So I have come to Singapore from London in June, right? And my objective for moving to Singapore was to try a new life. I've seen enough West culture. I thought, let me show my child East culture. Okay, I said, chalo, we're going. And I just left my HSBC job and I said, let's just go see a new life, right? Now, I'm very passionate about it. Like, obviously, I want to grow the business. I want to make all the 150 people happy or whatever. But tomorrow, if I need to go back, I will draw a line and I will not look back. So until like today, I don't look back to HSBC and say, oh, what is happening? Kaun kya kar raha hai? Kiska kya hua? No, doesn't matter. You walk. Like then you don't look back. So the detachment is after the event is over. So it's like a race, right? While you're running the race, you're fully immersed. But the moment the finish line is there, you're focusing on the next race. Right. So it's
Okay.
about analyzing the event to say kyun hua, kya hua, but not from an emotional standpoint. Dissect it to just take your lessons from the past, but then attach yourself to the next goal. So you're right. It's not easy, but it's a mental strength, but it is so peaceful once you configure it. That I think is very worth it.
Wish I do it faster. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
It's a bit like stock market, like you buy a stock, you think this price upar jayegi, upar jayegi, upar jayegi. The moment you sell it, then some people still keep looking. Arey, abhi nahi bechta to aur badhta. Moment I sell, I don't look. Moment I've sold, I'm not even looking. DocuSign ka kya hua, Zoom ka kya hua. I'm like, okay, I've finished selling. I've cut. My next stock is somewhere else. I'm looking there. So it's a skill to carry across different disciplines.
Very good metaphor, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prabhakaran, for asking that very powerful question which you asked, in fact. Great. So, great, Vinita. It was an awesome episode, I would say, and very insightful episode. A lot of more deeper understanding of the word itself, which we have taken, and which is bringing us to awareness of how do we actually move from hectic to happiness. Great. So, we will just quickly take our summary. We have and then we would like a word of thanks from Mr. Nellai Nayagam. From there, after we'll introduce the next week's leader and we close. So yes, quickly over to Mr. Sendil to quickly summarize the episode of what all we discussed in a nutshell, and then we move ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prakash, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you very much, Vinita, for this awesome session. The session was really very tricky and very useful in terms of understanding how a person can change his mindset when he is trapped in a hectic life. And the secret behind this is detachment. When you say detachment, the detachment means as the detaching from the anxiety, not detachment from doing your duty. It is something like getting detached from the result or the outcome. So this was the key essence of today's session. And the next key essence of the session is if you want to do something in action, at the end of the day, you need to have a health. So when it comes to health, you need to have a self-awareness mindset to concentrate on your physical health as well as on your mental fitness, because mental fitness precedes the physical fitness. These were the two tagline message of today's takeaway from Vinita, and it was very useful session. I hope this helps everyone to undergo this mind transformation system whenever they get trapped into a hectic mindset.
Thank you so much.
So rightly said, Sendil. Thanks very much. So on behalf of all the people who joined us today, I would request Mr. Nellai Nayagam to quickly do the word of thanks, and then one last point from Vinita as well as what would before the word of thanks, Vinita, one last word you'd like to share. I'm sorry, I believe your son called you. Vinita, is that?
Sorry, one last word. What?
one last fact I just want to share is one last word or one last advice you would like to give our community members. What would that be? Maybe in one liner you want to share.
I think there's a book called Choose Yourself. So maybe that's one good to read. So if it's written by James Altucher, I think, but it really helps you to understand like how to start prioritizing yourself above things.
Wow.
Thank you.
Choose Yourself. Great. That's going to be a great book. Definitely will share it amongst the community people as well, and that definitely will see how it all could be taken forward. I request Nell and I to do the word of thanks for all, and then we have a quick networking as well. So yes, Ms. Vinita, just a word of thanks for all on our behalf. Yes, Nell and I.
Good evening, one and all. Thanks to Bija Training for this opportunity. Dear Vinita, ma'am, actually a really wonderful session. The more practical tips on bringing happiness from the hectic life. And I love your point on this self-love, that is spending time with your own self, and as well as how to be detached from the world, and as well as work life. And as your last point, and how to be prioritized on our own activities. Yeah, really wonderful to take away and adapt on our own life. Yeah, before me sharing about a next week leader, let me quickly share again the purpose of the community. For the visitors who are attending the first time, Leaders Connect 360 is a hybrid model leadership community where every week, when on Wednesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 p.m., we invite a top management leader from a reputed corporate company to share their solutions for our real-time challenges, leadership challenges, either on leading self, leading others, or leading your business. Like how we have seen Ms. Vinita Ramtri shared today. This Leadership Connect 360 online leadership community also gives an opportunity to network with the people on the last Wednesday of every month through online, and once in 3 months with the direct networking at each city to network with a working professional for personal, professional, or social needs. That's when we call it as leaders creating more leaders. If you wish to join our community, please click on the below social media links. So now I'm happy to introduce the next week guest, Dr. Dorban Norbai, CEO, founding partner, People and Performance, Denmark, on the topic contextual leadership. Join us on 23rd November 2022, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. to 7:15 on Zoom Live. Registration link for this episode will be shared through social media platforms shortly. I'd like to thank the guest, Ms. Vinita ma'am, and the panel discussion leader for spending their valuable time in their sharing their experiences and solutions. Over to ma'am.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Nellai. Thanks, Ms. Vinita.
Thank you.
And it's an awesome
Thank you so
episode.
much, ma'am, Vinita ma'am.
Thank you.
Nice getting in touch with you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you all, and thanks for investing your time and same. Thank you. Have a great evening. And once for all, a thank you video, and then we stay connected. So, Ms. Vinita, if you have hard stop, please proceed. We have an internal introduction is what after the thank you video we'll be doing it. And if you wish to stay back for the introduction, also be
I'll need to go now. It's coming to 10 here. I need to go. Thank you.
Vinita.
Cheers,
Yes,
guys.
thank
Bye.
you very much.
Bye. Bye.
And for all the members here, a thank you video, and then we get connected with each other. So quickly stay back so that we'll be able to understand each other more deeper. So yes, Arul, over to you for the thank you video. So thanks, Vasanthi, for being a part of the panel discussion leader. We can see Mr. Sefi, Nellai, Nagaraju, Vinay, most of the people have joined in. Great. Thanks very much for all coming in here today. And you can just turn on your videos. We can just quickly introduce ourselves. That will add value. And Arul, kindly turn on your video as well. And you can stop recording, Arul, so that we'll be able to move forward. Sandeep is also there. Hi, Sandeep. Thank you very much for
Some
joining
of my
in.
friends have joined.